Hey Sagittarius, this is Michael with the September 2022 reading for your sign, whether you're Sagittarius Sun, Moon, Rising, or just watching for another Sagittarius person. All are welcome here. I have all of my links in the description box down below if you're looking for a personal reading and Reiki session with me. And I am just so grateful for all of the support that you give to this channel through your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. It does help this channel grow and allows me to keep putting out these messages. As I was connecting with the energy Sagittarius, I really felt and actually saw a lot of violet and magenta. And it feels like a lot of you have these two colors in your aura, or you have these colors around you, or maybe you're just resonating with these colors in some way. Very often when I see these colors together, this can indicate someone who is on the precipice of a very massive shift or change. And this actually makes quite a bit of sense, especially with the astrology this month. We do have a lot going through Virgo. We are in Virgo season. And for you, Virgo actually represents the area of your life that pertains to career and your role in the world and your public image. So there really could be this big thing happening here. And I'm just going to be honest, without even getting into the cards just yet, it feels like if you have been feeling stuck at a job or in a situation, I feel like you're kind of ready to break out of it, or you're ready to break free. There is also some stirring happening very much beneath the surface for you, very much in your core, and there's just so much going on here. As I'm shuffling, I'll kind of talk more about the astrology. I know that a lot of people say that they don't like that part of these readings, but honestly, like, if you don't realize how connected the astrology and tarot are, you're just not paying attention. They very well do go hand in hand, and you know, even the cards themselves have these astrological associations too. So even if you don't know much about astrology or understand it, I highly encourage that you at least listen and take it in, and just see what comes through and how that resonates. Really, the whole reading in general is like that. If this doesn't quite resonate, or you'd just like greater clarity on something, you're also more than welcome to check out the videos for your moon or rising sign. And again, if you're not familiar with astrology or just want a reminder, I do have an astro chart calculator in the description box down below. That should be able to help you out too. Interesting. The energy I have so far, we have the Nine of Cups with the Page of Cups in reverse and the Five of Wands. I feel like a lot of you are in a situation that once brought you a lot of happiness, with the Nine of Cups showing up in the past. And it might have even been like a wish come true. And I really do get that career vibe because, again, we do have Virgo season this month. The sun is in Virgo. Mercury is actually going retrograde on the 9th, and it will go back into the sign of Virgo on the 23rd. And there's just so much focus on this Virgo energy for you. And you know, I feel like a lot of you, you've either been in a position that was once a dream come true, or you know what this would be for you. That there's this path forward that is really exciting for you, but I feel like it's kind of lost its passion with the Page of Cups in reverse. You might have lost your passion for something that you are doing. Or if this isn't even pertaining to career, this very well could just be something that once brought you joy and made you happy. And now there's even the sense of conflict or competition. And I almost get this creative energy with this group, especially with the violet and magenta from before. If you're an artist, maybe you feel like your art isn't valuable because it feels like everyone else is doing something similar, or there's a lot of people doing something similar to you. And because of that, it almost like sucks the life out of it a little bit. And it kind of feels like, if I'm not creating something that is super unique and original, then I might as well not create at all. And I mean, if nothing else, you're never going to create something super unique and original if you're not already creating. So I want to kind of challenge that for this group a little bit. But if you are in a situation that's just not creatively fulfilling for you anymore, or emotionally fulfilling for you anymore, there may be some sort of conflict that's going on. There's actually quite a bit with the Five of Wands and kind of the astrology here, where This could be coming from a boss or a coworker or even a business partner. That's actually a very strong possibility for some of you, where you're having some sort of conflict with this person. And it's almost like you're so caught up in the motions and trying to achieve something or do something or perform something that it's almost like if you really paused and took a second to reflect and to really figure out what's most important to you, you might realize you're fighting for something or putting so much energy into something that doesn't even really matter to you anymore, which is kind of interesting. This could also be a relationship, actually, for some of you, too, seeing the Lovers at the bottom of the deck here. And we do have Mars in your opposite sign. Mars entered Gemini last month in August and is going to be there into 2023. So there is a lot of focus on relationships, and there could actually be some sort of conflict or some sort of tension that is existing there for you, as well as passion. Mars is a very passionate energy. But I'm very much getting an energy of something that is no longer fulfilling, or it's like you've gotten so caught up in the process of something that you forgot why you're doing it in the first place. And that's kind of the message I really feel like you need to receive. Remember why you are doing this in the first place, whatever it is that's weighing most heavily on your heart. And the Lovers can even represent something that simply you love. It doesn't have to represent another person. It can represent something that brought you great joy or a great sense of connection and unity. So very, very interesting and kind of hot energies already out the table, or out on the table here. I do want to just double check the astrology really fast because I realized I did not have my notes up. We do have a full moon in Pisces on the 10th as well, and this full moon is very close with Neptune. And when we have a full moon, it's kind of like this brilliant light. There's almost this revelation that occurs. And with Neptune, it's kind of like there's this delusion or this reality check that is happening for the collective. And for you specifically, this really could be about your childhood, your home, your upbringing, domestic relationships, domestic partnerships even. So there's quite a bit that's coming up, and being a fellow mutable sign, both Pisces and Sagittarius represent the end of a season. You are very affected by this full moon, and you could actually be very, very psychic during this time as well, and very sensitive. So just keep that in mind. You might be feeling very, very sensitive. Now, again, we do have Mercury retrograde this month as well, and that begins on the 9th, and that starts off in the sign of Libra. And this could very well represent something with friendships too. There could even be a very dear friend who you are having some sort of conflict with or miscommunication with, and that is affecting you in a significant way. And what is the challenge or blockage? The Ace of Wands. Again, some of you are just lacking a spark. You've lost a spark in something. And I think, especially as Mercury is going retrograde, it's almost like you're trying to figure out what your dreams are. And if your dreams have changed. Your dreams might have changed. And then we have the Page of Coins with the Six of Swords in the future. I don't feel like whatever it is that you are feeling inspired to do, like whatever it is that your spirit wants you to do, your soul, it's almost like you're going back to something, actually. You're returning to something. You're returning to something that is passionate. So I'm not necessarily getting the sense that you are abandoning something that you were once passionate about. It's almost like you're returning to it. You're finding the passion. You're finding the thing that made you love it in the first place. But this is specifically for creative things. If you're in a situation, whether that's a job or even a relationship, where it's just not compatible, it's not at all like what you want to do creatively or emotionally, then you might be leaving it behind. But you might be having a hard time doing that because there's something that you need to learn. don't let a learning curve be the thing that prevents you from embarking on exciting new ventures either. I just want to say that. And sometimes when you're so burnt out, it's almost hard to even figure out, like, what is it that I'm passionate about again? What is it that lights me up again? I feel like with this new moon in Libra, this is happening on the 25th, there really could be something that is kind of lighting up for you again. Or it represents the start of a new dream or hope or aspiration. It could also represent connecting with new communities, or even doing something online potentially as well, because the Libra energy for you really does represent networking. It represents online spaces as well as physical community spaces. So you might be feeling like you need to connect with your people in some way. But I feel like a lot of you have a lot of creativity. And I think I've talked about that before in these Sagittarius readings, actually. This kind of feels like a recurrent theme for this group. I did also have the Moth card that was interestingly in this deck. But I'm going to accept this. I'm going to take this. I don't think that this was an accident, even though this was from a previous reading. The Moth very much does represent wanting a quick fix, and maybe being drawn to the flame, being drawn to something that is destructive. I don't think there is a fast or easy way forward here. I'm going to be completely honest. It's like you need to commit to something that is going to be a process, and that's almost why it scares you, Sagittarius. It almost feels like too much. It's almost like you're afraid of your truest dreams. And I think there's a transformation that's going on here as well. And what's really interesting about moths is that the reason they're drawn to flames is because they evolved to follow starlight and moonlight. They use those as navigational points. And so something might have made you happy in the past, something might have been very fulfilling to you in the past, but it might not have actually been something that was divinely guided either. Or I don't even want to say that, because I think every chapter has its purpose and place in our lives, but it wasn't something that was meant to be lasting. It was almost like meant to be a course correction for you. And there's a lot happening, there's a lot of confusion happening this month, especially around the 16th, when the Sun in Virgo is opposite Neptune in Pisces. Again, these two very different competing parts of your life. Virgo representing your career, your role in the world, Pisces representing your private inner life. And there could be this kind of, you know, with the full moon in Pisces on the 10th, this could actually be part of that bubble being popped. And it's like, wow, I thought I was doing this thing that was my dream. I thought this was what I wanted. But I think there's something new. And even as I look down at the clock, it's 7:17, which feels like kind of a new beginning, a new spiritual beginning specifically. Let me see what else we have for you. The Four of Cups. It's almost like the universe is trying to hand you this opportunity or give you this thing that you really want, but it's like you're still so disappointed by how something didn't work out the way you had hoped, or it didn't quite fulfill you the way you thought it would, and you're kind of in this pensive energy. But there's something right above your head. There's this apple right above your head, and it's something that's ready to be plucked. And it feels like you might have been I don't even want to say led astray, but it's like you were looking for easy solutions. And again, like, even though there is this opportunity that's presenting itself to you, there's this very obvious answer to something, it is a process. And I think that's why some of you have been avoiding a certain truth. And, you know, Mercury retrogrades can really cause things like this, where our daily lives kind of break down, but in such a way where we are asked to prioritize the things that really matter. Judgment. Yeah, there's this spiritual calling. There is something greater that is calling out to you. I do want to pull an oracle card. And your ruling planet Jupiter is in the sign of Aries. And for you, Aries energy represents your creativity. There is all of this passion and excitement that is there for you. But it's almost like it's being squandered. Like this heat, this fire is being squandered in situations that aren't really serving you. Interesting. So, 2 cards. We have the 3rd quarter moon. Adjustments are required. And then we have the void of course moon. Nothing will come of this situation. So, I feel like you have to make some really big adjustments to your life. And I feel like a lot of you are kind of in the process of a career change or just changing the idea of what your future is supposed to look like to be more in alignment with you. Especially with this void of course moon, it feels like if you are in a situation that's really been a source of struggle for you, there's nothing that will come here. It's just taking from you. It's just depleting you. Which is kind of a heavy energy, I'm not going to lie. And it's interesting that this moon is kind of a full moon. And for those of you who are curious, a void of course moon is basically when the moon is kind of drifting in a sign. It's not really aspecting any planets or having any major interactions. It's kind of lost. There's this sort of lost energy with the void of course moon. Some of you feel lost. And adjustments are required with the 3rd quarter moon. Again, I feel like you kind of need to change something. If you keep going about a situation with the same approach, it's almost like insanity. You're not going to get any different outcome than you are in. And you might actually just end up losing out. So I really want to tell you it's okay to change course. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay for your passions and interests to change or for them to kind of wax and wane. Sometimes you'll have phases in your life where you feel very creative and artistic, and then there will be other times where you are more interested in another venture or another avenue of life, or even your interests in those creative endeavors could also change. So things are just shifting right now, and I don't want you to be too attached to what your life has to look like, what your dreams have to look like right now. Very, very interesting energy. Full moon eclipse. Conclusions are within reach. Yeah, there's like an ending. I think you're either going to initiate the ending or the ending is just going to happen. Either way, I think it's time for something different and you don't know how to do it because it seems like a lot of work. But you are very much at the completion of one cycle. And I think also with this full moon eclipse card, we do have a full moon eclipse in October, I believe. And it's kind of the next set of moons. There will be a big change. And with these eclipses occurring in Taurus and Scorpio specifically, there's a very big spiritual change. And that could also change the way that your daily life works, your daily grind, or your routines. So there is this upcoming shift in your routines, your health, your wellness, as well as your subconscious, your spiritual self, your psyche, and your creativity. And I really want to encourage you to just allow this transition. And it's funny looking at this Four of Cups because it's like, when I look at this apple, I almost get the sense that it's about to drop on this mermaid's head. And like, you're kind of looking down and all of a sudden something just like hits your head and there's this awakening, there's this epiphany that comes from this. So this is very interesting. You are going to have to let me know in the comment section down below what this is for you. And I mean, for some of you, it could be a relationship. I'm not going to lie. And specifically how this would really make sense is you might be in a relationship with someone who does not support your dreams and goals. And that might also be part of this shedding, this releasing. Now, I'm not saying this is for all of you. You'll kind of know if that is in your potentials right now. You'll kind of feel that. You'll just have this kind of, this bodily knowing. And I think those are all the messages I have for you this month, Sagittarius. I hope that this was helpful. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. Again, you are free to check out the other videos, maybe for your moon or rising sign or whatever. All of my links are in the description box down below, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.